Well, welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham. We will take your questions coming up, so use hashtag Bears or Super Chat. But another rumor around the Bears potentially signing Ryan Tannehill. This one coming in from Bleacher Report as they dropped an article of one free agent every team could still sign. And Ryan Tannehill was the name they dropped for the Bears. And look, we've explored this before here on this channel, and I've liked the idea, and I still do. Obviously, his premium starting days are behind him, but if he has to step in and play, I still think he can play at a, average, adequate type of level. And I just like the idea of bringing in a veteran quarterback that has actually played a good amount and had success in this league compared to like a Brett Rippon, right? Even if you want Tyson Bagent as the backup, that's fine. And I like Bagent a lot, and looks like he's put on weight, he's training hard, all that. Bagent is an absolute luxury to be dirt cheap as an undrafted free agent under contract. But a lot of teams carry three quarterbacks anyway nowadays. I still like the idea of Tannehill. Now, do they have to go out and get him? Is it going to make or break their season? Probably not. But I do think he'd help. And if you feel like this is a team that is poised to be a playoff team, like if you need someone to fill in for a couple of games, even though Bagent held his own 2-2 last year, got a lot of defensive help, I think Tannehill gives you a better chance, and I just think he is probably valuable in the locker room, in the QB room. Like, this guy has started over 150 games. He's gone to an AFC championship game. He's thrown for like 30-something thousand yards in the NFL. Like, he has had a lot of success in this league. Has he ever been elite? I don't think he's ever been elite, but he's been a good player. Like, you could get him for $4 or $5 million potentially. I like the idea. Let me know what you think. Would you sign Ryan Tannehill? Type S for sign or P for pass. We'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. S for sign, P for pass. Would you sign Ryan Tannehill when it comes to the Chicago Bears? First up is CEO Snow Gang with the $5 super chat. I appreciate it. He says, I would rather draft Zachariah Branch next year. He can end up being our speeder receiver for Caleb. Sure, and yeah, I mean, look, teams are always looking ahead. It's not just the here and now. Obviously, that's the focus right now, but, the way teams draft, they do factor next year in mind. How does next year's wide receiver class look? How does edge look? How does offensive tackle look? This is a strong tackle class. Is it going to be next year? They're always factoring that stuff in. The scouting, is at least a year or two in advance as well. So, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but if there's a receiver you love right now, you should probably just take him if he's there. The Notcast super chat, appreciate it. I'd trade down no more than 15, but I trust Papa Bear. Is that you were referring to Ryan Poles there? He's Papa Bear now. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what my cutoff would be. I probably wouldn't go lower than 18. That'd be the absolute most. But yeah, like 12 to 15, probably the sweet spot if I am going to trade down. Maybe I extend that out a little further if I get a premium pick. Aaron Wolf signed Cam Newton. I don't think I'm signing Cam Newton. He hasn't played in the NFL in over a year. He wants to start. I don't know. I don't think Cam Newton. I think he's done. I don't think he's going to play at this point. Bears goated. If the Bengals came calling at 18 for Brock Bowers, you sitting at 18, would you rather take Latu or Powers Johnson? Both are there. If Latu checked medically, I would take him. If not, I would take Powers Johnson. There'd probably be other few guys in that range I'd take over Powers Johnson, though, as much as I like him. 18's a little high for a center. I know he could play guard too, but yeah, I mean, that if Latu's there at 18 and the medicals check out, at least you feel pretty comfortable. That's pretty good value for what he provides. Dud HDNH, he says, thoughts on Latu, my favorite edge. I kind of just hit on him, but I'll follow up here. I think he's the most polished pass rusher in this draft. He's got a chop cross move that is unique for a guy coming out of college. He plays with good speed. The problem is he had a spinal neck fusion surgery. Is that going to hold up for a decade in the NFL, or is he a 5-year player that he's done like Leighton Vander Esch? Vander Esch played 5 years, barely got into year 6. Season-ending neck injury, now he's retired. So, if I'm drafting a player in the first round, I want to feel comfortable and confident that if he ends up playing well, I can give him a second contract, and health isn't going to be a reason he can't play that contract out. So, If that box is checked, I would absolutely take him. If it doesn't, I don't know. I don't know if I can take him. Miles, can the Bears sign Tyler Boyd after the draft if they don't get a top receiver? They could. I do think Tyler Boyd, unless you want to say Odell Beckham Jr., but I'd probably say Boyd is more reliable at this point, is the best receiver remaining. He's been steady for Cincinnati. He's had different roles there. He's been a number one. He's been a two. He's been a slot. He's mostly a slot at this point, so that makes it a little tricky. How do you balance the snaps with him and Keenan Allen, slot versus outside? But I would hope and think that Shane Waldron, Chris Beatty, the receivers coach, and the rest of the staff could figure that out because the DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Tyler Boyd trio is pretty solid. I do think if the Bears end up not getting a receiver high in this draft or someone at 75 that they feel like could be a number 3 or at least compete with Tyler Scott, that could open the door to signing a veteran after the draft, and maybe Tyler Boyd is that type of piece. Who will be the Bears' number 3 receiver in 2024? Predict it for us. I'm going to say Rome Odunze. That's what my gut's saying. My gut is telling me that he's going to be there at 9, and that's who they're going to take. But you tell me who will be the Bears' number 3 wideout in 2024. More questions coming up, but first, let's tell you guys about our sponsor, Prize Picks. Daily fantasy made easy. Pick more, pick less. 2 to 6 player entries. Different sports, Major League Baseball underway. You got the NBA and NHL closing in on the postseason. You got all kinds of things going on. Go check it out, prizepicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS. Also, we're starting to get some season-long projections out from Prize Picks. How about DeAndre Swift, more or less than 850.5 rushing yards? Give me the more, DeAndre. Let's get 900 plus here. And then I took the more on Amon-Ra St. Brown receiving touchdowns as well, 7.5. He had 10 last year. I feel good about him hitting 8 or more. He's a stud, as much as it hurts to say, up in Detroit. $10 to win 30 here, 3 times your money on a 2-player entry. Go check it out, prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS. Link is in the comments and in the description. That code gets you a deposit match up to $100. Daily fantasy made easy. Tons of sports. You can cross over your picks. Baseball with basketball, with hockey, etc. 2 to 6 player entries. You can win up to 100 times your money on certain entries right now. Go check them out today. Bear down 97. Do you know why Xavier Legette is so underrated now to go in the draft? I think there's route running questions. There's some inconsistency there, but I like him a lot. I think early day 2, I would say after the big 3, Brian Thomas and Adonai Mitchell, he's right there for me. He's between wide receiver 6 and 10 for me. You could throw Xavier Worthy in there, Troy Franklin, Keon Coleman. It's a really good receiver draft. Really, really good. I think he probably goes second round. We'll see where he ends up playing. Appreciate the super, by the way. Clayton, you can see the future. All Odunze, Turner become Hall of Famers. They're at 9. Who you taking and why? If they all become Hall of Famers, if I know they're all going to become Hall of Famers, I might actually go alt. Because protecting a quarterback on the blind side, it's hard to find something more valuable than that. Now, I like Odunze as a prospect better, but if you're telling me they're all going to be Hall of Famers, I would probably go alt. Because I think an all-pro left tackle is arguably the most valuable piece to have on an NFL football team in today's NFL, because you got to score and you got to protect your quarterback. Edward, would you trade both future seconds for MHA or Nabers? Like instead of 9 or with 9? Instead of 9, probably. Like trade both seconds to get up to 6. That'd be sick. But with 9, I don't know, man. Maybe? I'd have to get something back. I'd have to get like a third back or something. I don't think I could go 9 both seconds next year just to go from like 9 to 6 or 9 to 5. That's a little much. If it's without 9, Edward says with 9. I don't know, Edward. Like I said, I got to get something back. I got to get like a third back or something. Jaker, what if we just win the Super Bowl? From your lips to God's ears, Jaker. Let's go. Get the FGBs and the bear downs in the comments, everybody. Shout out to Jaker. hit that subscribe button while you're at it, because you must join our live shows to be a part of these mailbags. Subscribe. You got to turn on the notifications as well. That way you know exactly when we go live. A little tip, usually it's Monday and Thursday, 4 o'clock Central Time, but hey, there's breaking news situations. If you have the noties turned on, you will know. Aaron Wolf, Cam Newton, former MVP, wouldn't be a good role model for Caleb Williams. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the guy's been out of football for 2 years. I mean, if Cam, I'll say this, Aaron. If he wants to come play for the vet minimum and be QB3 behind Caleb Williams and Tyson Bagent, I'm down. I just don't think he wants to do that. Because the difference, too, is Tannehill's been active. He's been in the NFL. Cam Newton hasn't played, and the last time he played, he stunk. I don't think he can really play anymore. Now, if it's just as a mentor role and he's not going to play, he's your third quarterback, I'm down. But does he want to do that? He's also on record for saying he said this last year. Now, maybe his stance has changed. I don't want to give an exact number, but I want to say he said he would not sign for less than $5 million. It's like, for a guy that hadn't played in over a year, okay, good luck. I don't think that's very likely. J.M. Cuber, Keon Coleman, or Xavier Worthy, both not round 1 guys, but could be early round 2. Pick your flavor, right? Do you want the smaller burner that's shifty, or do you want the bigger possession receiver? You could argue Coleman, stylistic-wise, would give you just that different type of player. I probably like Worthy a tick more, but for the Bears, you could talk me into Coleman over Worthy. It's a tough call. I like them both. Augustine, if Eberflus is fired at the end of next season, is Ben Johnson number 1? It got to be, right? Like, if they decide to move on from Flus, but they really like Caleb Williams still, I guess, look, if the offense is awesome, but the team just collapses, maybe you just promote Shane Waldron. But if you just do a total reset coaching staff-wise, I'd have to think Ben Johnson's that top guy. Excuse me. DC Viper, is Bowers still on the board? If Bowers is still on the board at 9, if you trade to the mid-teens, do you take him or trade down again? Oh, if he's still there when you trade down. I've said that, like, if you trade down and he's still there and he's, like, by far the best player available, I would take him. Like, if you trade to 15, he's chilling. I mean, he's top 7-ish player in this draft. So, yeah, I would take him in a trade down scenario for sure. Jaron Thomas, do you see Caleb Williams winning Offensive Rookie of the Year? I could be the clear favorite. I think he'll be favorite 1. Jaden Daniels will be up there too. Sorry, guys. The snot bug is hitting me today. They'd be the top 2 favorites because Daniels is going to run a lot, so he'll fill up some stats that way. But, yeah, I mean, he'd have a great shot. I think the personnel's in place. The Bears have a chance to do good things this year. So, yeah, I think he'd be the favorite, and I'd probably throw some money down on it as well. Give me a follow on Instagram. It's at HGramNFL. It's at HGramNFL. Appreciate it. You got any more questions, go ahead and hit me up over there.